Okay, so before we get into the topic, I want to ask you a question. Um, I usually ask this of people that I need to encourage in the word, but you are already encouraged in the word. I'm not trying to do that. But I want to ask you, let's say you knew Jesus was coming back at 8 p.m. today. You knew it. God told you, get your things in order. Jesus is coming to get you. 8 p.m. Okay. So you have this information. Who do you call first?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Uh, I would call my brother, who I'm sort of estranged with, and just see if he's ready. I think most of the people I know are ready,
Mhm.
except I worry about him.
Okay. So, question number two. Are you ready? Why haven't you spoken to him already?
He is like toxic. He's just
We all have that in our family.
and I chose not to have a relationship with him because he just is always in trouble. He spent many years uh, in jail, and
Right, right. Had a rough
he's
life.
yeah, and he continues to make bad decisions. And I still have a relationship with his kids, my niece and nephews, but I miss him. We were 10 months apart, so we grew up pretty close. But the cops have been coming looking for him since we were teenagers. They've always been looking for him, and it just finally caught up with him. And now I worry about him. So that's who I would call.
You worry about his salvation.
I do. He says he's a Christian, but his actions are just not. Uh, they don't reveal that. He constantly makes
Yep.
bad decisions.
Okay, so why is it you have the knowledge of Christ's return will have you drop everything and not worry about your brother, that you'll just go and contact him?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because he's coming, and I don't have to worry about him causing problems for the future.
Okay. No,
because
I get it.
Jesus because Jesus is coming, but I'm afraid if I develop a relationship with him, it would be not good for my family
Right.
and those around me. Yeah. But yeah,
Oh,
if I knew Jesus was coming, like at 8 o'clock
right.
tonight,
You
oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
care.
No,
You would
no,
just do
because
it.
what could he do, right?
Okay. Could Jesus come 8 o'clock tonight?
He could. He
Okay.
could. I
I'm
don't.
sorry to rattle that up in your
Uh,
head because you'll be thinking about that all day. You'll be like, why haven't I mean, he could. I'm
Jack, that's a great question. And it's really tough for me to not have a relationship with him, and as time goes by I want to repair that, but it is every single time it has just not been good for the family. And I've this is the longest I've stayed away.
okay.
It's been 10, at least 10 years, maybe longer, maybe 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I don't know why I asked that question, but I've done that many times because the first person you call is the person you should have already talked to Jesus about.
Right.
You shouldn't wait just because you don't have that knowledge, because
Yeah.
any moment it could be
Yeah.
like, I don't think he's going to call you a few hours ahead of time and tell you, hey,
Right.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
You're not going to have time.
He
Nobody has time.
Jesus is for sure coming back. I think there's a few more things that need to happen, just a couple of small things that need to happen, but the signs that he told us to look for are happening more and more, and he is coming back. And you are absolutely right. We need to be about the Father's business and make sure that we are salt and light on this earth,
Yeah.
as what to our friends, our family. Uh, it's just that it's
I
such a
get it. No,
weird
I get it.
situation. Oh my God. I don't want to go into detail on YouTube, with
No,
all the,
no.
yeah,
I'm not looking for any details.
yeah, yeah.
But the fact that you're thinking about it is a good thing.
I
That's
always
all.
think about it, and I pray for him all the time, that God puts good people in front of him. And unfortunately, he chooses really bad decisions. So,
We all have somebody in the family that does that.
yeah,
So um
yeah.
so now that's a great segue. When's he coming back?
When is he coming back?
What do we know?
It's an age old question. I did a little bit of research. You're going to find this fascinating, but I did some research, and there, there are like 50, something like 56% are, yeah, 56% of the books in the Bible contain references to the end times or the last days or the second coming.
Right.
56% of the books. And in the Old Testament, it talks about the day of the Lord, the end times, things like that. In the New Testament, it talks about the second coming of Jesus. And even his disciples asked Jesus, uh, in Matthew 24, they asked him, when can we expect your coming?
Right.
When can we expect you to come back? What will be the signs in the end of the age? So it's a question. You would think with all those scriptures, we would know that when it would be. Um, but we don't. We just have a general, this is what's going to be going on. You better be ready. And he gives us like 12 things to look for. And Jack, you're going to find this fascinating. I asked Rock, based on Matthew 24, to
Right.
give me a list of the things that Jesus talked about and to give me statistics on if these things are actually
Do you have it
happening.
right now?
Yeah, yeah.
You do?
And can I tell you
Okay.
what Grok said?
Yeah, go right
Um,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. I love Grok because it does searches, it's up to date, and it uses all of the posts and things that are relevant and recent. So the first one, okay, Grok gave me the first one was deception by false messiahs. And the scriptures, Matthew 24, 4 through 5, Jesus answered, said to them, take heed that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. So Grok says that he's warning about false messiahs, and that Grok said you can't really quantify false messiahs, so that's kind of a hard thing to say. However, it says that this has happened. Groups like Branch Davidian and more recent figures like Apollo Quilbely in the Philippines claiming to be the appointed son of God. It kind of illustrates this trend. Um,
Right.
so the it's and then it goes, the Pew Research Center reported that 21% of Americans believe in new age spiritualities, which often involve charismatic leaders with messianic like claims, potentially aligning with the deception. So even though data is limited, false messiahs are often qualitative and context specific. So social media amplifies such claims, increasing their reach. So it does say that it seems like there might be an increase, but it's very hard to quantify.
Right.
Um, Also, just as a point of interest on that scripture, Jesus said, many will come in my name saying, I am the Christ. And uh, Mari Davis taught that that could mean that people are saying Jesus is the Christ, and but yet uh, uh, are leading people astray. Even though they're saying Jesus is the Christ, they're still leading people astray.
Got it. So they're not claiming to be Jesus, but
Right.
claiming he's the way and then false teachings.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Interesting. I never thought of it
it's,
that way.
yeah, it's how you look at that. But the next one is wars and rumors of wars, right? So Jesus said that there'll be wars and rumors of wars, and these things are supposed to be on the increase. So um, it says that could mean global conflicts and threats of war will be prevalent, causing fear, but most immediately signaling the end. So what's been going on? It says Grok says the Uppsala Conflict Data Program, UCDP 2023, reported 56 state based armed conflicts globally in 2022, the highest since 1964, with 82,000 battle related deaths. Examples include Russia Ukraine conflict, Ethiopia's Tigray War. The Global Peace Index 2024 notes a decline in global peacefulness, with 92 countries involved in conflicts outside their borders, up from 58 a decade ago. So rumors of wars align with heightened tensions, such as a US China rivalry over Taiwan or Iran Israel proxy conflicts. So X posts highlight public awareness of conflicts like Ukraine and Gaza, reinforcing rumors of wars sentiment. So wars are quantifiable, and recent data confirms an increase in global conflicts, supporting Jesus' prediction. And
That's from
that
Grok.
that's from Grok. And now most of these famines, most of these Grok concurred that these are all on the increase.
Right.
Famines. Um, the World Food Program estimates 309 million people faced acute food insecurity in 2023, up from 193 in 2021. Key regions include South Sudan, Yemen, Haiti. The FAQ's 2023 report notes that 29.6% of the global population, 2.4 billion people, lacked consistent access to food, worsened by climate change and conflicts like Ukraine's grain exports. So, famine data is robust, showing a clear upward trend aligning with this condition. And as I can go each one: pestilence, diseases. Of course, we have COVID-19. We had lots of diseases, but it just seems like more and more all the time. And its summary about pestilence and disease is recent pandemics and outbreaks provide strong evidence for this condition, with COVID-19 being a historic example. So Grok went through all the earthquakes in various places. It talks about the U.S. Geological Survey. It gives you like all the where it's getting its information. U.S. Geological Survey recorded 1,637 earthquakes of magnitude 5.0 or higher globally, consistent with annual averages. However, high impact quakes like 2023 Turkey Syria earthquake, 7.8 magnitude, 59,000 deaths draw attention. So what's happening is Grok was saying, it's not sure that there's more earthquakes. It's just that there's more earthquakes in places where there are people. So it sums
Well,
it up by,
wasn't the latest one in Taiwan or something? I
yeah,
mean,
yes,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, it and X post references to earthquakes in Turkey, Japan, uh, and historical quakes like Laodicea back in 60, 64 AD as fulfilling this sign. But it says, while earthquake frequency is stable, their visibility and impact have grown due to a population density and media coverage aligning with the various places' emphasis.
Hmm.
So it concurs with that too. Um, just every single one of these. General escalation. The scripture, all of these are the beginning of sorrows. So it's like birth pains. It just gets worse and worse and worse. Uh, it says this condition is qualitative, but the convergence of multiple crises supports this analogy. So it does appear that these things are on the increase. All of these things that Jesus mentioned, persecution and martyrdom of believers. It's worse now than it's ever been.
So what you're saying is all these signs that we need to be looking for are literally at their highest level in history.
According to Grok AI and its analysis of all this information, it'll tell you like where it got the information.
Right.
You look at persecution and martyrdom of believers, it says persecution data is well documented, showing a clear increase in hostility toward Christians fulfilling this condition. So when Grok analyzed all these different things, apostasy, betrayal, rise of false prophets, increase in lawlessness, and love growing cold, all of these things, the conclusion was yes, these things are on the increase, and it does appear that the birth pains are getting closer. So I just thought that kind of interesting for this topic. Um, However,
That was
at the
great, by the way.
isn't it awesome? At but and that's all really based out of Matthew 24, where we get Jesus answering the questions that the disciples asked. When is the end of the age? When is the sign of your coming? So, but Jesus said, but that day and hour, after he went through all of these list of things to look for,
Right.
he said, but of that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, but my Father only. And
That means
as in the
Jesus doesn't even know, if I'm
right,
correct.
right. So we don't really know, but he says it's going to be like in the days of Noah, where God was sorry that he had even made mankind. It was so bad. Um, so it also says in the days of Noah, they were marrying and giving in marriage and just kind of living life, but they were just wicked, godless, not giving him any mind whatsoever, not giving God any thought whatsoever. And today we just see a lot of that we see it in Hollywood. We see it in even the church. The church is losing. There's a crisis of faith. The church is losing members, losing young people. So we have to look at that as fulfillment of what Jesus said. But you can count on this. Is coming back 100% for sure. If you truly believe that Jesus is who he said he was, then this will come to pass.
Do you know why children fall away from the faith?
Why is that?
The parents' job. Seriously. It's the love. People complain about gender confusion for kids. That's because the love is not in the household.
Hmm.
When I smacked Tammy on the bottom and Jack Jr. was growing up, he knew that was an affection, a man to a woman. He grew up with that love around him.
Hmm.
I fear the parents are not delivering the message like the Bible teaches us, the
Hmm.
things to do morally. I don't believe they're teaching that. I don't believe they're carrying their faith to their kids. I don't think they're passing it on. Um, and I blame the parenting for not allowing the kids to accept Jesus now easily.
uh, and it could be the example that the parents are leaving too. They're not living the life that they want the
Oh
kid to
yeah,
live. Yeah,
totally, totally.
yeah, yeah. So we need to be about Jesus in our everyday lives, in front of our kids, in front of our fellow workers, in front of everyone that we come in contact with, and when we're by ourselves.
What is the one thing, if you don't mind me asking, out of left field here? What's the one thing what's the one sign you're looking for over all of them? Is the
There
first
in Ezekiel 37 and 38, it talks about Russia aligning with Iran and coming against Israel, and God having to do a miraculous save because they really come against Israel. It looks bad for Israel, but God works a miracle. And it even says it's such a miracle that everybody knows that it was God. And that is coming to pass right before our eyes. Once that happens, that really is a fulfillment of all the Old Testament things to look for the last days.
okay. So, you know, I always wanted to introduce like videos and show a video during our conversation to support or back up or for a question on to give you. Um, I haven't done that yet. We're going to start doing some multimedia. We're going to start sharing some images. We're going to start showing some videos that support exactly what we're talking about. Okay. That'll be coming in upcoming episodes. I'm going to do a little practice, get things more lined up, ready to go, because I'm not ready with a video right now. But I would love to talk about there is there is a video of a guy. I don't know who he's talking to. You can look this up online, but he is rattling off during COVID all the CDC member, like the CEO, the all of them had dual citizenship in Israel, and all of them were Jews. Like they, they literally were telling him to shut up, stop, don't, and he wouldn't shut up. They had to escort him out. I'll
Yeah,
share the video with you, but
interesting.
they all had dual citizenship, which I know most Jews in America do. So that's not a big deal. The fact that they're all Jewish running the CDC during COVID, which is a complete disaster.
Hmm.
CDC was nothing but liars. I pose this question to you, and I probably shouldn't because I know back then Israel was God's people. I'm not sure where they stand with God right now because they've turned their back on God how many times?
Hmm.
Okay. What if we got it wrong? And this is just a what if. What if we got it wrong in Israel's to be concerned of at this time in history? Not that it's the Jews are God's people, but
Hmm.
what if we're at a time they have their back turned away from God again, which they've done a billion times in the Bible?
Right.
And what if they're really a force to be concerned about?
Um, I don't know that they're a force to be concerned about. God will deal with they're his chosen people, and
Yeah,
God always dealt with them.
always.
So I don't think we need to be worried about them,
Okay,
um, because they're a special chosen people, and God will deal with them if they're apostate, which many of them are,
right.
except for the Messianic Jewish people that believe in Jesus. But we need to keep our eyes on Israel because it says that Jesus will rule and reign out of Jerusalem. He's coming back to that land, and he has not forsaken his people. He's still, just like you discipline Jack when he was younger, he disciplines his people, and they're still his chosen people. Um, I, I honestly believe that the Jewish people are God's people and that he will reconcile with them much quicker than he would another nation, for the simple reason that they are his chosen people and therefore he's responsible for them.
How big is that grok thing that you printed out that you have? Is it pretty
Oh,
big?
yeah, yeah.
Could we put it in the description box under the video? Or
Yes, I believe
okay?
so. Mhm.
Can you send me a copy?
I sure can.
Because we're kind of getting at the end of our time, but
Okay.
I want people to be able to read that.
Yeah. Yep. I'll
With
send it to you.
and it lists basically the things to be aware of for the
Every
return of Christ.
Yep, and all the sources that it got its information and its analysis. Hmm.
I so appreciate it. And then we may continue this topic later because there's so much more I want to talk about.
Okay,
So much
cool.
more regarding the Antichrist, all that. So I want to dive into it deeper. So we'll do a conversation. When is Jesus coming back 2.0?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll do a second video.
All right, cool.
Are you good?
I'm good, Jack.
Yeah.
Great subject and a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Great.
Appreciate you having me on.
I love you, brother.
Love you.
We will talk next time.
Okay,
Bye bye.
bye.